Hey, it's Brad here from Hoops, and in this quick video, I just want to show you a way that we can keep your business moving when a customer has potentially paid you with cash or paid with a credit card in store, but you haven't yet done your accounting reconciliation. So in this workflow that we'll go through, we have a job that's been approved and the customer pays us a deposit in store so that they can get everything happening quite quickly. But obviously with our deep integration with QuickBooks Online and Xero, unless you're doing the reconciliation of the payment inside the accounting platform very quickly, the accounting status column inside your Hoops job board is not going to reflect the actual status of the fact that they have paid you a cash deposit. So let's run through that workflow and we can come up with a few ideas of how we can creatively handle this scenario. I'll just quickly reduce the size here. All right, so I'm at my Hoops job board. I've got a job on this board that has not yet been invoiced. It hasn't yet been sent across to Xero. I'm integrated with Xero in this account. So I'm going to go Actions and Create Invoice, and then Save, which will do a couple of things. So firstly, let's just take note of the fact that as it stands right now, this manual accounting status is still currently blank. While that communicates with Xero, which just takes a couple of seconds, we can then, with that screen redraw, we can see that the accounting status is updated to waiting payment because the invoice has obviously been sent across to Xero. The manual accounting column that I've got here also says waiting payment, and that's been done through automation, which I'm going to get to a little bit later in this video. But this is a status column that you can have that, let me drag it right next to the accounting status column so we can see that, highlight the differences here. This is extremely powerful. It's communicating in real time, two-way sync with Xero or QuickBooks Online and pulling back accurate information. But the information is only as accurate as the action that's been taken in the accounting platform. In this order workflow that we were talking about, although the accounting reconciliation hasn't been done in accounting, the customer has indeed paid us a deposit. So we can then have a more flexible status where we could say we've actually got a deposit paid, and now we can see that it's the accounting platform that's lagging a little bit. And just until the accounts person comes in and does that particular task, we'll be relying on this manual accounting column. But then let's go sort of to the next level with this as well. So you might like to know how the payment was made. So then let's just add another column of status, because these are labels that you can define. So your payment methods might be cash. We'll name it. We'll name the column payment method. And I'm going to edit these statuses here, bin the 3 default ones, and I'm just going to go ahead with, so we're going to go cash. And we're going to go check. And we might go with credit card in store, let's say. So you might have more, but that's a good example of how you might handle it. So this customer paid us in cash, so we can now see that. The next thing that you might want to do is how much payment did you receive? So let's add another column and we'll use a text column. So let's call it the payment amount. And in here, so let's just check, the invoice value is $957. Let's say that they paid a roughly sort of 40–50% deposit. So let's just call it $450 has been received as a payment. That's the amount that's been received. But you might also like to know who actually received the payment. So then you could use a person column. Who took payment. So this is a really valuable use of saying that, let's say Sam was the person who took the payment. If you're then trying to track that down, or where is that actual physical cash, we might want to check in with Sam. So it's a really powerful way that you can then, at a glance, see what's going on with the payments. As you know, of course, your job board builds out. It gets really big, really quick. And so you can hide the columns that are unnecessary for your particular view and then save that as a different view along the top here. Really simple to do, but this will allow you to then have that different, the manual accounting status is the one that you're then relying on in this case, until of course you head back into Xero and someone then goes ahead and finds that invoice. And perhaps they've deposited that cash to the bank. I'm not sure what that workflow exactly would look like, but you would then add a payment of $450. And within a few seconds, Hoops will update to show that that has been partially paid. So we can see that there's still an amount owing. And I guess that's a demonstration of the workflow there, where this accounting status is now actually caught up with the manual accounting status, because you've been able to keep that order going down the line, down the workflow, without that bottleneck of the accounting waiting to happen. Now, one thing that I mentioned earlier in the video was about how you can actually automate this process a little bit as well, so that you can try and keep these two columns well in sync. So let's quickly head across into settings and automations. And what we'll do is just find an accounting status trigger. Here we go. Okay, so when you are creating an automation for a job, you can choose the accounting status trigger, or that's the automation type. So when the accounting status changes to paid, we'll update the job status, which column of job status, the manual accounting status, to paid. So logic's all relatively simple, but the result is really powerful. So let's head back into our job, and we can see perhaps this order goes down that workflow, and we find it again in zero, and we reconcile the final amount, the balance payment, so we pay the amount in full, and that payment has now been received. You can see that the accounting status updated to paid, as did the manual accounting status. So it means that you can always keep these in sync, but it can just allow you that flexibility that the manual accounting can be a little further ahead of the accounting, which is integrated with QuickBooks or Xero. I hope you found that video helpful. And yeah, thanks very much for using Hoops.